Running your own business can be lonely, finding reliable professionals difficult, and generating new business challenging, but not when you have a business network. NewGen Networking provides its members with new and exciting business opportunities, with the chance to build lasting relationships with vetted businesses who can act as your sales team and solve the issue of who to turn to in your hour of need. With a range of flexible and affordable solutions, NewGen apply tried and tested principles in a modern way to suit today's world. To find the right option for your business, visit newgen-networking.com or call 03333 600 680. NewGen Networking. New business, new contacts, a new generation of networking. You're listening to the NewGen podcast exclusively on the Pod Station. Here is an interview with one of our members from the Vinci Hub.
Welcome to another episode of the NewGen Networking podcast. My name's Mark and my business is Funky Vibes Marketing. Joining me is my fellow co-host, Dave Forrest from Myriad Mortgages. How are we doing, Dave?
I'm very well, are you, Mark?
I'm not too bad at all.
Another one?
Another one, we're just ticking them off the list, aren't we?
We're getting through them.
We are indeed. So, if this is the first time of you listening to this podcast show, I suppose we should explain briefly what it is that we do. So, NewGen is a networking group. It was started just at the beginning of 2021, so we're only a wee baby. There are two different networking groups that exist, and the concept is that you meet as a group of businesses, you all work collectively by telling each other who you would like, what kind of businesses you're after, so that when you go out and about during your normal working week, if you stumble across someone who actually meets the criteria that was mentioned a few days earlier, you can put the two in touch and happy days. And likewise, everyone else in the room does the same for you. As I mentioned before, we've got two groups that we have in NewGen. So we have a group that meets online on a Tuesday evening, 7 till 8:30 over Zoom, and that's called the Einstein Hub. It's on Zoom. It's going to stay on Zoom. It's an online format. It's been specifically designed so you get the most from networking on Zoom, because I know there's some who have tried to fit a square peg in a round hole when it comes to doing it. So hopefully this sort of meets that criteria better. You can book a place on there if you want to check it out. If you go to newgen-networking.com and you find the Einstein tab, you'll see all the latest available meeting dates. You can just go on there, book. If you do, I think it's NewGen-podcast as a coupon code. I'll stick it in the show notes because there is the potential I've got that wrong. Then it should give you a free attendance for the first time. So it doesn't even have to cost you anything to do it. The second meeting is the Vinci Hub, which meets on a Friday. It's 10 till 12:30. It was currently online, but actually at the time of speaking of this, it's just done its last online. They subject to another spike of this bloody virus. We should be
we're gonna be together, aren't we, Mark?
Meeting face to face on a Friday. And again, if you just go to the NewGen website, find the Da Vinci tab, you can book on there as well if you fancy coming using the same coupon code there. If you want to check us out on social media, it's on NewGen. It's at Network NewGen. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can listen to this show on all of the major podcast platforms, although presumably whilst you're listening to this, you've already obviously found. But if you can't, if you go to the website, go to the podcast tab, you'll actually find easy links. Right, I think I've done the donkey work there, Dave.
You have. You've talked quite a lot there, Mark.
I have done. I bored myself. Apologies to everyone listening.
Should I introduce our guest then?
I think we absolutely should introduce our guest before I send everyone to sleep with my dulcet tone. So I'm going to pass the responsibility over to you, Dave.
Thank you. Well, today we have a very special guest, and that's Adele King from Utility Warehouse. Welcome, Adele.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Adele.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm just getting over my monologue I'm impressed you stayed on the call for long enough to actually get to the introduction.
Well, I was sort of starting to nod a bit, but sorry, because I know you.
Dave, ask her a question before she says anything else mean about me intro.
Never.
Well, Adele, I think you obviously work for a company, and I think it's one of the little known gems out there that people don't know about. So tell us a bit about it and what it is.
Yeah, I work with Utility Warehouse. What we are is we're one of British success stories. We've been going for over 20 years, but day in, day out, I constantly speak to people and they've never heard of us. We're a multi-award-winning utility provider. We're a huge discount club, but we flatly refuse to spend millions of pounds on advertising day in, day out. We would much rather give it back to our customers, to the people that we work with. And it's quite nice because I was watching something on the TV last night with Kate Humble on Channel 4, Escape to the Farm, and they were talking about the trees on the Brecon Beacons, and that's our main project that we're actually involved in. So we would much rather do things like that than spend everything on advertising.
So you get your message out there by word of mouth, really, don't you? Which I suppose that's how all businesses do it, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the good old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
It's the good old-fashioned way of sort of saying, look, I recommend a restaurant, I recommend a book, I recommend film. Why would you not recommend a company that is going to help you save money and also potentially make money as well?
So, but the company is a big company, isn't it? It's you say, oh, they don't spend on advertising, but they're not a small company.
No way, we're absolutely huge. We're actually a FTSE 250 company. We're one of which for people that are not aware, that's within the 300 largest companies in the UK. So there's huge credibility with the company. We're highly regulated by Ofgem and Ofcom, and we're also regulated through the FTSE 250 as well. So there's lots of credibility there, and also lots of sort of length of service. You hear people where they say, "Oh, I've never heard of you." However, we're just there tucked in the background, but we've got this longevity of moving things forward.
And I think the actual sort of lockdown, if you like, moving to a bit of online work has sort of helped you a little bit, hasn't it? Has that helped you sort of like in the way you work?
Yeah, because in the past we've always been face to face with appointments, and up until lockdown we were, and then the company suddenly realised where a lot of the other utility suppliers, whether it be broadband, telephone, gas and electricity, suddenly sent everybody home and didn't have anything put in place. So you were struggling to get hold of them, whereas our customer service department actually flourished because the company went out and bought laptops for every member of staff and sent them home, and their IT department worked it so that they could work remotely from home, no matter which department they were in. With regards to us out in the field, they set up a remote system allowing us to do everything over a computer and a telephone, and still ensuring that we've got the security for our customers in place. The little background things like not seeing your bank account details when you put it in and stuff like that. So everything was correctly put in place, and it was put in place within days. So it was amazing.
Yeah, like we've all adapted, haven't we? I think it's taught us new skills, hasn't it? Which we can then use as a hybrid going forward, as we sort of come out.
Absolutely. I mean, we initially were a face-to-face company with, like I said, with us as distributors, but we've now turned into an online business that can work face-to-face, which
Brilliant.
means that we're not only COVID proof, but we're recession proof as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I know one of the questions that we'll tend to ask anybody really is, so why, there's all those companies out there all doing the same thing. What are the little things you can do for somebody that maybe just your general thing, your general utility companies will do?
Yeah, it's a great question that I get all the time. I'll get people say to me, well, I go onto the comparison sites, I'm very clued up, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I love people like that because we are the 1% that's not on the comparison sites. Firstly, we won't pay to go on the comparison sites, which every company that's on there does. And then secondly, how can you compare to something that's non-comparable? Because we do telephone, broadband, gas, electricity, mobiles, mobile SIMs, home insurance, home boiler care cover. We've got the amazing cashback card, all on one bill. There's nobody doing anything like that. So you're dealing straight with the person. You've got me on the end of the phone if you're struggling with anything. And I've got quite a lot of my clients, which are elderly clients or vulnerable clients, that are quite happy to just pick up the phone to me and then I can resolve any problems for them. Where, again, there's no other company offering this. It's so personable.
So it's a personal service, isn't it? And I suppose,
Yeah.
do you end up sort of like, it's almost like research for them, isn't it? It's like a bit of a research. It's like, is it an individual quote, if you like?
It is, yeah, because when I sit down with people, it's, for me, I'll always get the information from the bills, but it's about chatting to them because some things are not always right for people as other things are. And then it's about understanding their spending habits as well, because with the cashback card, I save on average between 18 and £30 a month every month, month in, month out, just by doing what I was going to do anyway. So it just comes off the bottom line, but it's about working with the people and making sure that they understand this. So I do regular reviews with my clients. At the end of the 12 months, I review their energies to make sure that they're on the best deal. If they're not, I'll make sure that they switch to the best deal. So you get lots of these companies that will say, we'll automatically switch you. And then you find that they'll only switch you if you're saving so much. Whereas even if I can save somebody that extra £10, I'll still switch them onto our best deal. It's not about leaving people on a high and just letting them get on with it.
So it's sort of a long-term relationship you've got with the clients, haven't you? And that
Absolutely.
that helps people. Tell us a bit more about this cashback card then. How does it work?
Cashback card really is the jewel in our crown. Basically, in a nutshell, every time you're spending, use the cashback card. It's dead easy to use. It's backed by Visa, but it is a prepaid card. So you use your mobile phone, you'll top it up on an app. I've seen me stood in Sainsbury's and top the card up while I've been stood in the queue. That's how simple it is. I've even got my mum doing it, and she's 75 and she just loves it. She just tops it up. And when she's running low, she goes back on and tops some more up. But it's about that routine. So wherever you're spending money, use the cashback card, whether it be for a pint of milk, whether it be a new laptop, whether it be a holiday, anything whatsoever, use it, because as you use it, you're taking your bottom line down. So every time that cash is spent, you're reducing your energy bill each month.
And there's different levels of sort of cashback you can get for certain shops, is there? And
there is. Perfect example is, say, for example, Argos. If you decide it's coming up to Christmas, you've got kids' stuff to buy for toys. And when I was a kid, Argos was always the Bible at Christmas.
I used to love sitting, having my breakfast in the morning as a kid, flicking through the Argos catalog, going, I'll have that for Christmas.
I want that.
It's the only time I ever use Post-it notes, just stick that in the, just so mum and dad will find the page again.
Yeah. Well, I've got three brothers and we used to pay Bagsy. I Bagsy that on every page.
You imagine that now as a parent, you're thinking, oh my God, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Let them circle it, because whatever you spend for every pound, you'll get 5p. Let's escalate that. Most families are spending probably about £1,000 at Christmas. If that's all on toys, that's 5% off that £1,000.
Wow.
Which is an amazing amount coming straight off the bottom line. Now, a perfect example is quite a few years ago, I had one of my customers. They went and bought a kitchen from B&Q. B&Q is one of our cashback partners as well. They paid for the kitchen on a cashback card, and the following month, the company actually gave them cash back.
Wow.
So as well as paying for the whole of their bill that month, they actually put money back into their account as well.
Because that one big purchase had wiped out the gas and electric bill effectively for the next month.
Absolutely. I mean, the way I look at it is if I'm getting between 18 and 30, I'm getting free broadband every month.
Yeah, so it pays for something else, really, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I suppose because I know, you know, across your bills, those little savings can add up quite a lot, can't you? You know, if you're not looking at it all the time and you're not, you know, you're just generally staying with the provider you're with, I think it's always worth looking around, isn't it?
Yeah, and I agree with people looking around. But the other good thing that we've got is because we've got, if somebody comes to switch with us, we'll pay up to £200 to bring somebody out of contract, firstly. We've also got the money back satisfaction, 30-day satisfaction guarantee. So if somebody comes over and they're not happy with what we're providing, we will take you out of contract without charging you anything. And then thirdly, if you find 12 months down the line that you could have saved more with another person, another provider, then we will offer double the price back difference as well. So everywhere down the line, there is every opportunity that it's a little bit of a no-brainer, really, that you're guaranteed to save.
Yeah.
And you top that up the cashback card, it's just a winner-winner.
I've got a question, Adele.
Yeah.
It's generally suggested that people should shop around, certainly for things like their utility, every year because tariffs changing, etc. And I've never really quite wrapped my head around it because I've always worked on the assumption that A, it's too much time for me to be bothered, and B, probably I can't be asked. But what is that really a thing? Is that, why does that happen? Is that something that applies to utility warehouse? If not, what makes them different insofar as why would somebody who's a utility warehouse customer not need to have to do that process the following year, etc.?
There's a couple of things. The reason why you get lots of people that will shop around is because you've got a lot of newer, let's start on the energy side of it, you've got a lot of newer companies or young in company age companies that within this industry that are coming in and offering absolutely silly deals to get you drawn in. And then what happens is sort of 6 months down the line, they start putting the prices up. And then all of a sudden you think, this has not been like as cheap as what I thought it was going to be. So people shop around for those reasons. And again, those companies will only hold that in place for so long. Hence the reason why you had so many energy companies going bust over the last few years, because they were offering silly prices and not being able to recoup it back. Secondly, then you've also got your telephone and broadband providers that, again, offer really silly deals to get you drawn in.
I do hear that, by the way. TV companies, I won't mention them because they're not paying for sponsorship, although if you want to, since, you can do, info at NewGen-Networking.com. But where there's all these amazing deals that they offer to the new customers. And I always get quite agitated as an existing customer that I'm now paying more than I was at the outset, and because I'm not a new customer, there's a load of special deals I don't get in addition to that.
And they won't always sort of, like you said, Adele, about doing like an annual review. I would imagine a lot of them, they want you to stay. Like Mark said, can't be bothered. You miss it for a couple of months and you actually overpay for a couple of months. So they make the money back, don't they, before you go?
Absolutely. And like you say, you've got a lot of the TV broadband companies that put them, they in effect, they pull everything together as a whole package, but then you're in effect, you're not paying for broadband, but then they will do 2 reviews every year. And it's a little bit in their terms and conditions that will say, if you've been with us since this sort of date, you cannot come out of contract. This is not a guaranteed price to stay in place. And then all of a sudden, sort of at end of contract, it doubles in price. So then okay, fair enough. You ring them up and they'll give you a better deal because they're scared of you switching. But to me, I'm a bit of an old-fashioned Yorkshire girl. If somebody can offer me a good deal in the first place, why not offer me it in the first place rather than when I pick the phone up? And I see this all the time with insurance companies. They'll send you a requote through each at the end of the year, and when you switch to somebody else, they'll say, well, we could have offered you better. Yeah. Well, why not offer me something better in the first place? So ethically, that's why I like what we do. Our SIMs, it's a rolling SIM contract, so it's not going to suddenly go up in 6 months because it's the 6-month review. Yes, we have got a deal out at the moment on telephone and broadband at £20 a month, whatever's the fastest speed. And this is the first time I've known us do this. And it's not because they want to jump on that bandwagon of everything else, but us as distributors have said to them, other companies are offering absolutely stupid prices at the moment, which is not sustainable. Can we put something in place for a few months to help our customers? So they've put that in place. So yes, we will, we will hold that £20 for 6 months, but then we're going back to the price that we are currently paying. It's not a case you're suddenly doubling price. So everything's fair and transparent. We don't hide things in the little bits and pieces. Hence the reason why I always got involved with UW, because they're just so transparent in the way they work.
I suppose the thing is it's the same gas and electric and the same broadband coming down the line, isn't it? So why pay more for it when it's just get a good deal and get some bells and whistles on top of it?
Absolutely. And people, it's surprising how people are in the nicest possible way quite naive with this. They'll say, well, I've been with this company before and the broadband wasn't as good. But actually, it's the same broadband coming down. It's how you deal with it. And we've got an amazing tech team that if somebody's struggling with it, they will do everything they can to get it back up and running. So, like, for example, another thing that we offer in place is if it's not right for you with anything, you can come out of that contract. So whereas you see some companies that will say, we'll give you money back if your broadband's not right, we've actually got it in ours where if we can't resolve your problem, which sometimes it's not always down to us, sometimes it can be down to the cable, the distance of the cables from the house and this, that and the other. But again, if we can't resolve it within 30 days, we'll allow you to come out of contract without charging. It's not a case of saying we'll give you some money back. We will allow you to come out. So we're always confident that we will always resolve the problem.
So it's that confident. I mean, if you're doing that, you're confident in your product, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, Dave. Like any company, like any business, we don't always do it right. But the way I look at it is, if something's gone wrong, it's how you resolve it.
You put it right. That's
and a lot of the other companies out there, they'll bury their head in the sand. You'll spend 2 hours on the phone trying to get hold of somebody and you just can't get hold of them. And this is why we've got a British-based customer service department. Our tech teams are all based in this country. You've got personal service with your individual distributor. And now we've literally just in the last few weeks put live chat in place on our website as well. So everything's there to be able to support everybody immediately without having to wait for anything.
The utilities parts in the products that you've mentioned there is obviously one part of your involvement with the utility warehouse, but there is a second element to how you do it or what you do insofar as people can become part of your team. Do you want to just explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Most people always hear about multi-level marketing. You've got lots of product-based stuff out there. And we are exactly the same. However, rather than being product-based, we are service-based. So the good thing from that is every household is switching a light switch on and off every day. Pretty much a high percentage of every household has got telephone, broadband, gas, electricity, home boiler care cover, things like that.
I don't think that's
So
quite
what-
got up to Hull yet. That's a Yorkshire joke. Before anyone from Hull, it's just a joke. I know you do. I'm only joking. I'm from Leeds, and obviously we think we're better than everyone else. Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. But it is getting up towards Hull. It's getting closer and closer to Hull.
you'll get there in the end, Hull.
Yeah. So what you can do is you basically, it's like recommendation. So I just chat to people. Day in, day out, I chat to people. And you can, if you wanted, take this on as either a part-time business or build it up for potentially a long-term full-time business. For me, I run it part-time alongside my locksmithing business as well. But you can earn anything between £10 and £400 per customer. Then what happens is you will then, a few years down the line, start getting residual income. For those of you that don't know what residual income is, I always say the best way to describe it is J.K. Rowling. She earns on average £203,000 a day. And that's just from something that she did once. So I speak to a customer, I do something once with them. I sort out the gas, electricity, broadband, everything. Do it once and I get paid again and again and again. So basically what I'm building up here is my pension. I've got my prison pension, but I'm building this up on top as well as getting paid every month.
We should qualify that with the fact that when you have a prison pension, it's because you used to work in the prison service, and not because you get a pension because you come out of prison. I feel that's probably an important element to stress when you're trying to encourage people to work with you.
Yeah, you imagine. But God, I don't think the government would ever be able to afford the a prison pension for ones that came out of prison. Last count I saw, there's about 85,000 in there.
I suspect they might lose a few votes as well if they try. But there we go. We're moving into a different arena there.
Yeah, so I work with my teams. I support them in the early days. So somebody comes on board. If you're a current utility warehouse customer, so you already know the services, etc., you can become part of the team for just £10. And all you're going to do is recommend it to people in and around you, and then work with people like me, go into networking events, but just chat. And by just chatting to people and recommending, you can earn some good, really, really good money. I always look at people and sort of say, are you open to looking at a second income? And if they are, I then ask them, are you open-minded as to what you're prepared to do? And before they start panicking and thinking, oh, you're going to ask me something really dodgy, I say, no, it's not. It's totally legal. However, there is some amazing money to be made. There's lots of people not know what's happening in their lives at the moment, that they just need a bit of stability.
Is that always like a business in a box then that you get sort of thing? Because you're getting all the training and everything, aren't you? And
well, I was just about to ask that. I mean, if someone's sitting there thinking it sounds great, but I absolutely know diddly squat about the utility world, so how on earth would I even get started on that?
Yeah, totally agree. I knew nothing, and I still know nothing about how energy works. I still know nothing about how gas works. I still don't know any technical sides on the telephone and broadband. However, I always said to people, do you like helping? Do you want to genuinely help people? And if they're a genuine person and they genuinely want to help, you're perfect. Because you just talking. How many times have people recommended a restaurant or something like that, and has that restaurant paid them for it? Well, here you're getting paid for it. And like Dave says, it is a business in a box. When I started the locksmithing side, I spent thousands, spent hundreds on putting things together, websites, emails address every week, everything like that.
Marketing materials, if obviously you need any marketing materials, designing, hot shameless plug there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
But that all costs. Whereas as it stands now, for £10, you've got that. You've got your online training. You've got a mentor that can work directly with you so that you feel comfortable. Excuse me. You've got your own email address, you've got your own website. We do conferences. We've just done a massive Zoom conference, and all that is paid for. So again, you've got all the large companies that are spending millions upon millions on advertising, whereas it will go back into us and our customers.
And you've got the support of someone like yourself who's building that team and helping you get started. You're not out there on your own, are you?
No, definitely not on your own. And it's quite strange from when it's a very unusual company in a really, really amazing way. And it's not until you actually get into it that you realise, considering every distributor in this company in and around the country are all going for the same thing. We're all after customers. We're all after people to work in our team. However, we all work very, very closely together to support each other. And after having 13 years working in the prison service and being really close with team members and being a strong team, it's just a totally different ballgame. I've never had the support on a day-to-day basis before than what I get with other people within this business.
Fantastic. Adele, I'm conscious of time, so if people are interested in getting in touch with you, whether it be to get more about the utilities side of things, or if they want to perhaps have a chat with you about the opportunities that you can help them with, how would they do that?
Yeah, there's two main ways you can get hold of me. You've got my email address, which is adele.king@uw.partners. And also you can give me a call at any stage on 07 427 296890. Everything that I chat about is totally open. And for me, I always look at it and think, is it worth a coffee and a chat? Because if I can't help you, it's been nice to meet you and have a chat. If I can help you, then happy days.
Blimey. And there you go. There's an invitation. There's a Yorkshire lass offering to buy you coffee.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it's like a full eclipse once every 10 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah, only offer to buy one.
Have you got any more questions, Dave?
I suppose just last one really. It's all about people, but typical client. I suppose it's everybody, isn't it?
Everybody is a typical client. It is quite bizarre. It's hard to be specific because, like I say, everybody has got energy. Everybody has got telephone and broadband. But it's about people sort of thinking out the box a little bit and realising that actually I can get this personal service on my doorstep. But the other thing is if there's business owners that are struggling to keep themselves ticking at the moment and genuinely want to be able to help their staff, I would happily go in and show them how the money works, because you may find that I can be an add-on to their staff's income. And it's not like you're saying to a company, well, you're going to be paying them less. It's about them supporting their staff and saying, well, we're still on furlough at the moment. However, would you like to come in and have a chat with Adele? She's going to show you how this works. It may be something that interests you. So any business owners like that want to look after the staff, we could just give them a little bit of a lifeline.
I think that's great. That's just like an added benefit, isn't it, for being there? So I think that's a great idea. So any business owners out there who want to help the staff, maybe save a few pounds a month, get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Adele. If you would like to meet Adele either in person, you can meet her at the Friday Vinci Hub, which meets at Vauxhall Sports Club every Friday, or you can meet her on the Zoom at the Einstein Hub on a Tuesday evening. As I said at the outset, if you go to NewGen-Networking.com, you can check out all the dates there and book yourself a place. And don't forget to use that coupon code as well, which is in the show notes, to get your free spec Again, Yorkshireman promising something free, another eclipse. They are. So you've had 2 eclipses in one show. That's quite impressive. Give us a review on the platform that you're using to listen to that, because it just helps us get a bit more exposure. More people can see the show. Hopefully what we cover and the topics that we discuss will be heard by more people, and hopefully it'll help more people ultimately. Dave,
yes.
Thank you as always.
Thank you, my friend.
Adele, you've been splendid.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's
Thanks,
always
Adele.
appreciated.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to visit one of our online or face-to-face hubs, visit NewGen-Networking.com and book a place. Get social at Network NewGen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn.